So today, the 2nd July 2025. So it's about people who do not know that there's a very vital information when it comes to Peugeot or modern Peugeot vehicles. A very vital information that can actually prevent some of these electrical issues people are experiencing or complaining of, which not every user experience. So in other words, these are actually caused by ignorance, and they end up damaging their Peugeot vehicles because of that. And that is the idea of BSI unit that people ignorantly damage. With ignition key. For example, this is my Peugeot 406, as you can see. So this car, at least I know it started as with 406, 206, and named them. So any Peugeot car produced from the late 90s, you could say 2000, but you could say late 1999, or from 2000 upward, there's something that is called BSI unit, body system interface, or built, is it body or built-in system interface? I don't even remember which one exactly. Anyway, so it basically is the brain of the vehicle electronically. It's the car brain box. If you are looking for a component to call brain box, that is what you should call brain box, not your engine ECU. So that's the brain of the entire vehicle. It controls everything that has an electrical connection or is an electronic on the vehicle. So, and also is also the mobilizer of the car. So it has some don'ts. So things you shouldn't do on the vehicle if you don't want that component or module to break or to fail. And one of them is things you shouldn't do with your car key. Very, very important, because people tend to forget that these cars are electronically composed, so they do anything they usually do on 504, 505 and expect same result. These cars with the BSI unit are programmed to give you warning when you leave your ignition key on the ignition switch and you open the door. You're about to leave the vehicle and the key is still on the switch, engine is not running, your ignition is not on, you just left it on the switch. It will warn you, hey, I hope you know what you are doing. He is not telling you remove the key. It's simply telling you, hey, I hope you know what you are doing. Because what that means is, if you do not know what you are doing and the key remains on the ignition switch, and then you open your bonnet and start messing with your battery, or with your, not just your battery, maybe your fuse box or something that could cause surge, you could end up damaging your BSI unit. Simply because of this we are looking at. Let me show you guys an example. What I mean by is the vehicle is trying to remind you, hey, I hope you know what you are doing. So let me show you. So as you can see, it's my Z9. No, D9 I meant. D9 V6 speed manual. So this is the key. So this is the ignition. So you can see, I just slot it in. I didn't turn it on. I didn't do anything. And see, the instrument panel is off. All the electronics are off. Now this is the door. Now here, guess what's going to happen? See, my hand is not touching it too. But see what's going to happen. You can hear that. I'll do it again. Not every vehicle will give you this warning. Again, I repeat, this is just telling you, hey, I hope you know what you are doing. Now, depending on the production year of the car, even for overseas, some of them on the multifunction display might actually go also aside the beeping sound. It's not even a beeping sound, it's kind of loud actually. It will also show on the display a key reminder. Key reminder. That's what I'm saying. Hey, I hope you know what you are doing. It's not like, oh, that it is bad to leave it on the ignition switch, but it might not be safe to actually leave it there. Or just to remind you, hey, know what you are doing. The key is there. Why I'm saying this is, if you leave that key there, ignition is not on. Even when the ignition is on, it might. Yeah, if ignition is on, it won't give you this warning. But it will also cause almost the same harm most times. But let's assume the ignition, focus of this video is not with the engine running or ignition on. You just left the key there. Open the door. It will give you this warning, show you key reminder on the display. You ignored it. You open your bonnet. With the key still on the ignition, then you start messing around with the electricals. And for some reasons, you didn't remember that you still left the key. Or even if you did remember that you left the key, just assume that it means nothing. You go and disconnect any of the battery terminal, or you go to the one of the fuses, start removing and plugging back. What is going to happen? It's not all the time, but from experience, most of the time, you come back, put your the key is still there. Now, let me start the vehicle. Put on the ignition switch. You now switch on the ignition. Boom. Car can no longer start. Immobilized. Depending on the vehicle model, it will give you different kinds of words. It could be immobilizer fault. It could be key malfunction. It might not even be key malfunction. It will just be telling you anything that has to do with immobilizer. To form his own words to tell you, but you always know that it has to do with immobilizer. And most times, the BSI is gone. Some people could be lucky, eventually they might reprogram the key. The issue is not the key actually, but BSI has crashed. So if you are lucky, you might you program the BSI, not the key, and then synchronize it or resynchronize it with the key. It will pick. Sometimes it will not. It has happened to a lot of people that I know. You know. And sometimes I assume they know this information, even though we know each other and they drive Peugeot. But you know this kind of thing. This information, I've been sharing this, I don't know how long, 2010 or thereabout till date. We are in 2025 now. So I assume that before they even met me, they must have, because most of them are Peugeot users. They got to know me from this information I'm sharing online. So eventually I was, they probably have come across it, because it's not everything I will remember to say, oh, I hope you know about this, I hope you know about this. These informations are free everywhere you can think of, or not all social media platforms, but I mean, all you need is click Kenna 354. You see various blogs, forums, name it, YouTube, this, that, even some of the video platforms as well. We have upload videos, not just on YouTube. Posts, articles. So they will always make mistakes too, and take things for granted. I wouldn't even know they didn't know until they will call me and say, hey, this is what happened. All of a sudden my car is showing me this. I'll be like, what did you do? I did nothing. No, let's walk it back. What was happening before that happened? Can you remember? Yeah, I think my mechanic was checking something, and I was inside the car, and he was on the bonnet, or under the bonnet, or, you know. And I think I was trying to charge my phone. I put the ignition on or something, but the key was still there. Or they may not even remember if the key was there. I was like, oh, do you remember? I said, maybe I think, because I think I left the... I'll be like, what do you expect? I'll be like, bet. I said, no, don't tell me bet. The car will be warning you even before that time that once you leave your key in the ignition, open the driver's door. Any driver's door on this, you open it up, you get this beep. It could come in different sounds depending on the car model. But people tend to ignore that. There's no way I will hear this sound, and I won't be like, what does that actually mean? You don't have to be an expert. You get curious. What does that mean? Why is it making this sound? Eventually you figure it out, or you now search for it to understand why. You know why I'm saying this? My 505 V6, when I got it in 2010, I started driving in January 2011. I observed that there's a particular time, maybe a few days during the ownership, or a day or two, I can't remember. At night, or when weather is dark, I'll notice that if I open the driver's door, just like this one, okay. Before I explain, if I open this driver's door, I'll hear oh, hey, this is a 1986. It's 1986 production car. Why is it having an alarm in the vehicle? If I close the door, the noise, this thing goes away. I can't remember the exact sound. But it's not as if it's that loud, like normal. But I open the door, it will keep doing that. I close the door. But it doesn't happen all the time. But sometimes it happens. God, how did I know what was causing it? That it was a warning. Hey, I hope you know what you are doing. It's not telling you do this, but hey, I hope you know what you are doing. I noticed that when I entered, the parking light was on, or what we call side light. I switched it off, opened the door again, was off. Put it on again, opened the door again, it came back again. So we say, what harm would leaving parking light on will cause? Like I say, it's not telling you, it's called parking light, remember. There are sometimes places you park, it'd be safer to put it on. But what you see, it's trying to tell you, when you open, you leave it on, the engine is not running, your headlight is not on, your key is not in ignition, you open, so to tell you, hey, because that light is not bright enough, so you probably might not even see that it's on. And you will forget and leave it till the next day. Maybe you parked at your house. You switch on the main headlight and forget to switch off this thing. You will even remember. Or probably you dim the instrument panel, that light bulb there, so it's not even bright or showing that your parking light is on. So it's trying to warn you, hey, if you have intention to leave it on, fine, but understand that it's on, because the parking light means it shouldn't stay on for 12 hours. Maybe at night, or you need to park a car, at least you want it to be visible enough so that people don't come and scratch your car, and you will spend more than 30 minutes before you jump back into your car, or max 1 hour. Even 1 hour is even too high for me. So as early as 1986, Peugeot introduced that. Even though you can actually still leave it on, it's meant for you to put it on actually, temporarily. But at least know that it's on. So I won't forget circumstances or situations where you don't actually need to leave it on. So that's the point. Pay attention. That's how I figured out that it was actually the parking light that was giving me that warning. So as early as 1986, Peugeot was able to devise something that will warn you on certain things. So you ought to have. Let me see. I think this one does the same thing. Let's see. This is the parking light switch. So it's on now. Okay. Let's see. See? You see? You see, the engine is not running. Ignition is not on. But you can see, you know, I think this is the one that do I think the 505 is doing beep 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 beep. I think that's what it does from 1986 upward. I can't remember 1979 to 1985. Can't remember how that one behaves, whether it has that kind of feature. I've used that in the past too, actually. You know, so pay attention to these warnings. If you are not sure, try to figure out what could be, you know, what is it trying to tell me. Eventually you will know. So that can damage your BSI unit. And BSI unit is not something you want to experience the failure in a modern Peugeot car. You don't want to. Trust me, you do not want to have BSI unit issue simply because of what? Your ignition key. That is enough. So my point is, it's a habit that I've formed. Whenever I'm going out of the vehicle from the driver's seat, the key is always on me. The key is always on me. If I'm working on the car, maybe on engine bay, worst case, I'll put it on the door card somewhere. Each door card has a, for example, I could keep it here. Even though I know in the next 1 minute or even 20 seconds, I'm coming back to switch on ignition. I don't care, I will be moving it there. So these are the things you need to form that habit. Make sure you do not leave your key. You see some mechanics, sometimes they will they want to draw some fuel from your car. They will put the ignition on, go to the battery terminal, put a hose to, you know, remove one of the fuel line, switch on ignition. Then if we pump fuel for 1 or 2 seconds and stop, they will still leave the key on ignition, or they will go to the battery and be pulling it up and down, doing it like this. So immediately they put the battery terminal back on, it will pump fuel for a few seconds, then goes up. They do that a lot. I've had issues with mechanics doing that on people's vehicles, but I've warned them, see, you don't want to try me on that. Even if it's not my car, but as long as a vehicle I brought to that workshop to be repaired, to work with you guys on that, do not ever make that mistake. If you like, do that on other people's vehicle, I don't care. I've told you the implication, I warned you. If it happens and it damages your vehicles, that's business between you and them. You know, don't just come to complain to me. But if I bring any car, I'm going to take it seriously if you end up damaging it because of this kind of issues or abuse. I call it a severe abuse on the electrical system. So they know that, and they try to all out at least. You know, my own case is I will once I tell you 1 or 2 or 3 times, that will be end. I have a lot of mechanics in Abuja that are begging me, please bring, I can work with you, you know, this and that. So if I'm coming to you, then you have to do it. We have to work according to my terms. Otherwise, a lot of them are out there. You know, so that's how I play my own, or do my own thing. So if I tell you, please see this electrical system, as far as project is concerned, don't take it for granted when I'm telling you, do not do this, do not do that. You know, because I know how sensitive BSI units are in Peugeot vehicles. Small thing, key, ignition key, is enough. This is enough to wreck your electrical system, simply because you are either, it's not even ignorant. Yeah, you might not know the consequences, but you take it, you know it's trying to warn you, but you just took it for granted. What's the worst thing you can do? Yeah, well, maybe sometimes it's good for people to experience some of this thing, but learn from me. Do not stop causing some of these harms to your car. So that, I mean, 307, most of them have ended up having that problem. I don't want to go into detail, but it's not only 307, but I don't know why it appears to be more common in Nigeria. Is it that people that drive them are usually, I don't know. Anyway, not everybody, but it's kind of, I don't know. Again, I don't want to look like I'm saying it, but this seems to be more common. 406, yeah, but 307, I don't know. Each time you say, oh, this person had issue with BSI, this person had issue with BSI. And most times, once you trace the problem, you realize the issue had nothing to do with the BSI itself, but an abuse was done and ended up damaging them. 407, same issue. People do damage there. Even 508. So do not cause this kind of harm on your car, and you have nothing to complain on your Peugeot car. So if you have any opinion on this, you can put it in the comment section. Whatever you have to say about this. So like the video, subscribe to the channel. I'll see you in the next one.